Hello, hello, and welcome. Today, I'm offering you a free opportunity to read a chapter in my book, Bringing Spirituality into Business. In this chapter, it talks all about our spiritual intelligence, this intelligence system that we have within us to receive information, to receive data, to receive guidance. And I talk all about the four pillars that we need to put in place to actually start tuning in to this spiritual intelligence that exists within each one of us. So often we're going so quickly and fast throughout our day that we miss these subtle messages, these subtle insights and guidance and direction. And I'm here to tell you that just like a muscle is strengthened, just like your memory is strengthened, just like a habit is built, created, and strengthened within you, this intelligence system and all of your abilities to tune in more deeply, more intimately, to hear, receive, and listen to this data will come forth fluidly, freely for you to access and utilize. In the free chapter that I'm offering you through my website, go to www.complete-solutions.llc.com/free-chapter, and you'll receive access to receiving that chapter in your email. So give me your email address and I'll gladly send you via email that free chapter to the book. Then I want you to come back and listen to the rest of this book club, because this is what we go through before we break out into conversation and group, so that we can talk more intimately and start purposefully aligning this data with our own individual lives. It really is about you tuning in to all four of your intelligence systems. You see, we've been taught and governed to think that we just have an IQ. And I teach your PQ, IQ, EQ, and SQ. And we have four intelligence systems. And when we're sitting in the center, allowing these four intelligence systems to guide us, life gets easier. We start achieving more, stepping into our gifts, our talents, our creativity. We start allowing our contribution in the world to come forth with an authenticity, a grace, a beauty. And we start really living in to the power and purpose that we came here for. We start allowing ourselves to see the bigger picture and assign greater meaning to all of life's interactions, relationships, and opportunities. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you do enjoy it, be sure to share it with someone else, because in sharing, we're giving others the opportunity to expand and grow as well. One thing's for certain, we're in the fastest growth spurt I've ever seen in my lifetime. Where we're at right now is faster, 10 times as fast as the industrial evolution, but at 300 times the scale. When you think of what our digital technology has awarded us and allowed us, we are advancing, we're evolving so much quicker. And the only thing that's getting in the way right now is that humanity is not evolving at the same pace. This information, this data is what will help you get back on board to your own inner evolution, your own journey, your own growth and development, your own ability to increase, to grow, and prosper. There's greatness in you, and it's my aim to help you express that, live that, and enjoy life to the fullest. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, beautiful souls, to the book club for Bringing Spirituality into Business. We're on chapter 15, which to me is the whole purpose of this book. It's our spiritual intelligence, the SQ part of our growth. So for the purpose of getting the most out of what's coming, I invite you to take a deep breath, to bring yourself back home to this calm, centered space and place within. Allow all your energies to come back to you. As we do this, as we take this moment of pause, we open ourselves up to be more receptive, to be more inviting, to be more clear-minded, and we invite all of our intelligence systems to come play full out in a balanced, equal way. By just bringing your focus back to your breath, you allow the mind to begin to calm. You allow your central nervous system to come back into harmony. And you allow the sensations and vibrations in your body to come into a balance. So just naturally take your biggest, deepest breath you could for just a moment. A little, I guess, unnatural, right? The biggest breath you've taken all day. And watch and observe how it expands your belly, your chest. And then slowly, gently, allow it to release. And just notice the relaxation that starts to come over you as you give focus and attention to certain areas. You'll notice that you can cause them to relax more deeply, more quickly, and you'll be able to release tension, tightness, stress, anxiety that you might have been holding on to. What this does is allows you to take this information in at a deeper level, to sense it, to receive it. So let's get started. The mantra for today is, I've replaced spirituality with my spiritual intelligence. So let's recite it together. My spiritual intelligence invites me to see my connection to everything, everyone, universal laws, and to the wisdom and intelligence within me. My spiritual intelligence reminds me that I'm here to grow, advance, contribute, and to prosper. It summons me to recall that the nature on this planet is cosmic or divine in nature. By now, we're starting to notice our connection. We're starting to notice the spiritual intelligence as it starts to show us in our awareness little subtleties to other people, to opportunities, to universal laws, and maybe even you're noticing wisdom, insight, intuition coming forth within you, growing you, advancing you, prospering you. Spiritual intelligence is tapping into this intelligence within us, this inner genius. To me, it's that genius of the creator, of creation, of the infinite intelligence, the one mind of God, the universe. Whatever words you put to it, it's a bigger intelligence than the mind, our memory, our intellect, and our emotions. It's something greater because it always comes forth to bring you what I call free downloads, insights to move you forward. You are a soul experiencing consciousness expressed through a human story. You know, I worded it just a little bit different, but you're a spiritual being here having a human experience. There's no changing that. That is the fact. You are here to bridge the human psychology with your spiritual nature, the two of them to one. You are spiritually intelligent. And when you practice this intelligence, when you lean into it, you become more aware of the big picture, of yourself and the universe, of your place and your purpose in it. The whole concept of spirit comes from the Latin spiritus, meaning breath. The modern term refers to life energy, to the non-physical part of you. Now, I think of it as my life force energy that brings all of me into being. Pause a moment and just think of how you think of spirit when you hear that word. Spiritual intelligence progresses naturally from your personal intelligence, the knowledge, appreciation, and understanding of yourself, through social intelligence, knowledge, appreciation, and understanding of other people, to the appreciation and understanding of all other life forms and the universe itself. Thus, spiritual intelligence begins with and requires awareness of self and others. Hence the journey to start slowly learning who we are, right? Getting to know ourselves and then introducing ourselves to awareness, to becoming the observer, because this progresses naturally as we move forward with this greater understanding of all that we are and our connection to one another, our social intelligence. We've been talking about a compass. I call the PQ, EQ, IQ, and SQ your inner guidance system. It is your compass. It's what guides you day in and day out throughout your journey. So my inner compass was really strengthened by my experience in the Garden of the Gods. And what I shared with you was, the most impactful moments, but I left out the beauty. And I want to share with you some of that beauty here today. But what I want to really have you tap into is the 4 key elements, these pillars of how to really expand our SQ. And it starts with wonder, right? And I want to show you some pictures to allow you to tap into maybe some of the wonder I had that day, some of the inner knowing, right? From the beauty of these rock formations and the views I could see and the people all around. Inner knowing was coming to me continuously throughout that day, not just when I got lost in the forest. And 3, the guidance that continually comes when we tap in, when we ask for it, but we have to take those small and subtle pauses to do so. So let me share with you just a little bit of my journey this day at the Garden of the Gods. It was a beautiful day in October, and if you pay attention, you'll see a couple of the photos that show the depth of the leaves that were on the ground. And it's hard to believe when you see the color in the photographs of the beauty of the autumn day that was there, that presence of that now moment for me. It's hard to even believe that the forest floor had like 4 inches of leaves to walk through and that you could not see the path. But pay attention as I go through this short video to share with you. and the highway that I got pulled over on at the end. I want to take us quickly into an introduction to someone who has given us a lot of insight into spiritual intelligence and the work that she's done. And she starts her story by explaining that in 1965, after attending a conference on psychotherapy, mysticism, and psychedelics with her husband, her life was transformed when she became a subject in one of the early legal studies of psychedelics at the Foundation for Advanced Studies, where she had what she calls this mystical experience that was so profound that her description of it has been cited and reprinted many times over. This experience opened in her the inner universe, the depth of her study into spiritual intelligence. Meet Frances Vaughn, PhD in clinical psychology, a teacher, author, speaker, and administrator. She was the president of the Association of Transpersonal Psychology and a board member of the International Transpersonal Association. She was also the editor and a frequent contributor to the Journal of Transpersonal Psychology. She was, by any standard, a remarkable woman. She was awarded 2 honorary doctorates for her many professional contributions. These bullet points at the left are her words. And she says spiritual intelligence is one of several types of intelligence and can be developed relatively independently, meaning you don't need other people to help you develop that. You don't have to go to a school. So she goes on to say spiritual intelligence calls for multiple ways of knowing and for the integration of the inner life of mind and spirit with the outer life of work in the world. Hence my experience of Garden of the Gods and that spiritual calling that was really guiding me towards my greatest growth in that moment. But spiritual intelligence can be cultivated through questing, inquiry, and practice. I list wonder as the very first thing to really dive deeper into your spiritual knowing. I didn't meet Frances until I'd written the book, till after I had written the book. So it's really amazing how even my 4 components in the chapter really align with what she found and what she boldly states in developing this intelligence for yourself. She goes on to say spiritual experiences may also contribute to its development, depending upon the context and means of integration, which my experience at Garden of the Gods was helped me with my spiritual growth because of how I chose to integrate it. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Spiritual maturity is expressed through wisdom and compassionate action in the world. And lastly, she says spiritual intelligence is necessary for discernment and making spiritual choices that contribute to psychological well-being and an overall healthy human development. She studied psychology at Stanford, and the 4 modalities of study that psychology focused on were measurement, prediction, control, and behavior. But what she found in spiritual intelligence, it introduced her to 3 new components: values, meaning, and purpose. She goes on to say that this was a new way of thinking about one's human potential. It includes the whole person. It's all about growth and change, and it doesn't require you to be sick to get better. I love the last one. It doesn't require you to be sick to get better. So Ask-Q is expressed in all cultures around the globe, in all religions, all faiths, all ethnicities, in every single country across this beautiful planet Earth. It's all seen with the same 3 values: love, wisdom, and compassion. No difference. Spiritual intelligence is expressed in all cultures as these 3 basic pillars. Maslow's hierarchy of needs takes us to the top peak of this pyramid, right? That in the fullness of us developing into our full potential It's self-actualization that we're seeking, achieving one's full potential. And he goes on to explain that self-actualization as a spiritual state in which the individual poured out creativity, was playful, joyful, tolerant, with a sense of purpose and a mission to help others to achieve this state of wisdom and bliss. All of these are to be accomplished in an environment of growing compassion and love. The words never change from everyone who describes it. Spiritual intelligence feeds you, it fuels you, but you have to tap in with wonder for the knowing that's coming, the inner guidance that's given. And you got to create small pauses, stillness, with intention to invite it in. There's no other way. I want to remind you that in chapter 9, I talked about 4 levels of awareness, 4 levels of consciousness. If you remember, they were to me, for me, through me, as me. Your spiritual intelligence requires, you can't look at your situation as a to me situation. To me has you separate from this spiritual nature, not believing that there's this intelligence feeding you. It has you playing victim to your reality, having you playing victim in the world. To me thinks that the world is causing me to suffer, that the world is making my life hard, that others have power over me. But to really tap into this spiritual nature requires you to see that every experience, every situation is happening for you or through you or as you. So spiritual maturity is that growth up the ladder of the 4 levels of consciousness. And it implies wisdom and compassion. And it's first shown to self and then to others, no matter the belief, sex, ethics, age, or behavior. It's seen as a sign of respect in all forms and stages of life. Yes, respect, RESPECT. Aretha Franklin reminded us how it's spelled. And some of us need coaching on how to show it. The fact of the matter is we don't need coaching. We really don't. We need to develop these 4 intelligence systems within us, because then respect comes as a natural byproduct from within. Spiritual intelligence will transform all businesses, but it starts with each and every individual as they start to awaken to their inner self, the self of purity, power, and potential. SQ is achieved by connecting your inner life to the outer, by being aware, trusting source, challenging beliefs, pursuit and practice, discernment, holistic approach, and developing your other senses. My Garden of the Gods experience can be put right smack in the dab center of this. As I talked about, when you're seeking new results and you've got a problem or a situation at hand, put your problem in the center and look at it from 4 different elements, your 4 intelligence systems. I was lost. I wanted to get my bearings to get, out of that situation. My physical body was guiding me. An early part of my journey, it had me jumping trails. I didn't even know when I jumped trails to follow the Sierra Club, if that was a 10-mile hike or a 2-mile hike. I was on the shortest hike possible, just around the Garden of the Gods. I was coming in from one end of the parking lot, and I was going to come out the other side of the parking lot where my car was. I had no idea when I jumped trails where I was going to end up. But something told me, my mental IQ, right? My mental intelligence was saying the Sierra Club knew more than me, that they knew the trail, that they knew how to follow the way. And my emotional intelligence was striving for some sense of comfort, some sense of security and safety, some sense of certainty, right? With my 6 basic human needs. I had a need at some point to feel secure on that trail and not find myself where I did. But not once in the early stages did I even allow my spiritual intelligence in. How long it took me to tap into my spiritual intelligence was a rude awakening for me. It took me getting lost. It took me finding out that there was no one around to help me, that I truly could hear nothing, see nothing, know nothing, and I had no other options. So this journey for me was really impactful because before this, I had been proclaiming to tune in to spiritual intelligence throughout my day. And again, I was reminded of how much I fall short in tuning in throughout my day. I had to wait until I was desperate, and I had no other options for me to tune in that day. And it was a great awakening to show me that there's more. So, what thoughts, beliefs, and conditioning might be getting in the way of you developing your SQ? Oftentimes, it's the lack of a pattern or a habit or implementing or integrating, what you want to help you develop this. And so that's why we focus on these 4 pillars, to look at things with wonder, right? And we can look at our everyday experiences with wonder. We don't have to think we know exactly how to do things. We can seek new knowing because who you are this day is different. You're changed from this week to last week, from today to yesterday. And until you seek new guidance, new ways of becoming, we don't get to invite them in. But it's for sure that these pauses are what's necessary. We're going to take these 4 components into conversation as we move forward. But I want to remind you to jump into the membership portal. And I have a couple extra things in there for you this week. One is a spiritual intelligence assessment. It's a questionnaire that'll help walk you through rating your level of spiritual intelligence. I didn't create it. I'm giving you a link to a website where someone else has created this material. So use it at your own discretion and have fun with it. The other thing is a movie recommendation that really embraces spiritual intelligence throughout the movie. So if you're looking for something through the holidays to watch with family, I recommend this movie highly. So let's dive in. But I really do recommend that you take one day for each of the 4 pillars. One day to listen in with what it really means to be in wonder. One day to start putting wonder to the test of all that you do, so that you spend at least 24 hours on each of these 4 pillars before you really start integrating them together. And bring this into your family, bring it into the book club you have going on in your inner world, right? If you've got one with your girlfriends, if you've got one with family, if you've got one with your spouse, your partner, your kids, and let each and every one of them share what that wonder looks like and share what each of these components look like to them, and allow for Q&A time and reflection of the inner work that we're doing this week. So without further ado, I'm going to take off the screen share. I'm going to end the recording and we're going to jump into some group sharing right now. Thank you so much.